All right, guys. Fulu coming live to you, live and direct. Forgive me for taking so long to go live, but I got caught up in some things, and I got caught up on other lives, being on other people's panels who have some similar views to me. So yeah, the reason why I put this live stream with that name is just largely due to the fact that you know at this time, women in the West, and also women who adopt the ways of the West, are pretty much unhinged at the time, and are pretty much at a point of no return. And also the same goes for the men, who, like, I guess you can say, co-sign their behavior, basically, and like defend their behavior, which unfortunately there are some guys who do that. And it's unfortunate, but it's just the situation that we're in, you know. But I know the title may be kind of harsh, the title may be kind of harsh, but it is absolutely the truth, you know. It's it's absolutely 100 and positively um the truth of the matter, you know. And the reason is it's just largely due to the fact that what they're engaging in and what they're allowed to get away with, and we're going to get into it a little bit with some videos. But what I really want to do is kind of read into the things that Allah actually said he hated, you know. I want to actually read into things that Allah said he hated, and deep dive into it, basically, you know. So let me go ahead and get into these things. And so we're going to talk about it and dissect some of them. But just give me a second. I'm just pulling up some things real quick. Sorry about that. I want to read a description that was given to me. I found it on a website. Basically, it's a Islamic website, and it kind of covers what exactly the thing I was trying to get across. Just give me a minute. Just give me 1 second. I'm looking through my phone. Just getting a couple of pictures real quick that I need. I hope y'all catch the replay. I know there's nobody in the audience right now, but hopefully you guys catch the replay, get the message, and then act accordingly to the message, basically. But what I want to say is that, like, there's this, like, I guess you can say there's this this under like this kind of belief that Allah is just this, this supreme deity that is just going to let you facilitate, you know, different kinds of things, and that you're not going to be held to account for those things that you facilitate. Like, for example, in the Quran it says that I mean, the transliteration says that if you like, if any good comes from you, if any good comes to you, it comes from Allah. And that if any bad comes to you, it comes from the evil of your own hands, which you have produced. That's what it roughly translates to. So if you're producing these type of things that we see in the modern world and with modern women, they expect good to come out of the decisions they make, but they don't understand that what they're doing is setting themselves up for bad to come from their own hands. And then because women are so emotional, it it becomes the guy's fault. It becomes the guy's fault who they choose, who they already showed themselves who they were at the beginning of the choices that they made. But I'm gonna read some things, and with these things, I mean, honestly, they kind of hit close to home. They kind of like make perfect sense when you read it, you know. So this was written by someone, and it says qualities that Allah hates and dislikes. So one of them is israf, which is extravagance. And so, you know, for example, what does a modern woman want to do most of the time? As sad as it sounds, she wants to spend money, you know? She wants to spend money. She loves spending money. Spending money, spending money, spending money, right? And the thing is that when you spend so much money, it just leads to greater evil. Like, for example, you look at one of these celebrities, right? And one of the female celebrities, like, I'll take example, Little Kim. What has all the work done lead her to? It led her to a boob job. What did that work lead her to? It led her to a face job. What did that work lead her to? It led her to a damn. I don't know if she bleached her skin or not. I don't know what happened, but all of those things led to her doing those kind of like weird things, Um, and so also istikbar, pride, you know. And so when you look at modern women, what do they have? A lot of pride. They have a lot of pride. They disregard the truth. They look down on other people. I mean, when you really think about it, they look down on dudes who aren't a certain height, okay? They look down on dudes who may just be walking by, and they automatically think that dude wants to talk to them, and they really don't want to talk to them. They're just walking by minding their own business, you know what I mean? That's the thing. Another thing that they do too is that, like, they think they may be so knowledgeable, be so wealthy, whatever the case may be, and they're boastful about it. And it's like, woman, you're in debt from trying to keep up with everybody else. So I don't know why you're even talking mess right now. You know, it makes no sense to me, truthfully speaking, right? But that's something that they do. That's something that they love to do, and that you'll see a lot of from them, right? Okay. Another thing that, God hates is like transgression. Um, for example, when you look at how much, like, the thing is, they don't have a sense of moderation. A modern woman, as crazy as that sounds, doesn't have a sense of moderation. They think that everything has to be over. And while I'm not even suggesting sleeping around and stuff like that, we're going to watch a video to show how much they actually do sleep around and how they don't really moderate how they sleep around. You know what I mean? Let's not to mention let's not mention the other thing that they do, which is wrongdoing. I hate to say it, but they do that. They do a lot of wrong. Let's look at the fact that they are deceitful as well. Okay? They'll tell you in this, luckily I was hip and it never happened to me. But they'll tell you, "Oh, I want a nice guy. I want this guy," and things like that when they're not telling you their track record and their history in the past. That's where the disconnect is, really and truly. Is they'll say, like, after it's all said and done, and after they had their fun on the carousel, right? That now it's time for a nice guy. Now it's time for a guy who can, they can settle down with. But I'm sorry, but that boat has long passed and you were deceitful. And you are deceitful when you say, after it's all said and done with your roster of men that you were getting ran through, you're now saying, "Oh, I'm celibate. Oh, I'm this and I'm that." It's not, you can't be deceitful like that. If you were a 304, just stay at 304. That's just the bottom line. I hate to say it, but there are certain things you can't really come back from. There's a couple of things which you really can't come back from, and they act like you can come back from that. You can't come back from that, man. I'm going to just be honest with you. Another thing they do is mischief making, you know, all types of mischief making. Okay. Publicity of evil, you know, and they do it out in the open. They'll do deceitful things out in the open, especially they'll practice their hypergamy out in the open. You could be walking, right? And then you walk into a car, a nice car, right? You could approach a woman, try to get to know her, stuff like that. And you may not be going in the car, you know, but once you get in, like, let's say a nice car, once you get in something very, very nice, that same girl that didn't pay you no mind is now oogly over you. as crazy as it sounds, but it's just the truth on how they operate. You know, another thing that God hates is I've seen words and acts, and let's face it, every day you open TikTok, you're going to see I've seen words and acts from modern women. Treachery, oppression. Let's be honest. If you're in child support court or child court, you're going to be oppressed. There's betrayal. There's worldly desires. Just all over the board do they cross these kind of things. Like they cross all of these features. So I want to get into something right now so we can see what kind of things that they're involved in. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Shout out to Darius M, by the way. Let me see. Let me see.
Walked 100 times, stepped 100 times, D95 way about it. There has not been in the history of humanity across any culture, any book, any story, any fable, there has never been across the history of humanity any respect put on the name of a promiscuous female ever. Ever. It is impossible for.
All right, hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to look for the video. Let me see. I can't find it, but let's look at this real quick. I just want to see, and you can just tell the difference between people who are trying to follow the truth and those who don't care for the truth. But let's see.
From its first steps in the region of Caucasus in the 7th century, fighting a war with the Turkics to becoming a superpower in the country and reigning over the lives of more than 10% of the population. Islam has come a long way in the Russian Federation. Currently, there are 4 mosques in Moscow, the capital of Russia, and over 8,000 praying centers established all over the country. Islam is the second largest religion in Russia, and it is mainly comprised in 7 states. Today, we'll be elaborating the story of the 7 states. 1. Ingushetia is a Russian republic with a population of an estimated 330,000, of which 96% are Muslims.
I know this sounds crazy, but I think that people who tend to live in these kind of like small autonomous areas actually live a higher quality of life than those who live in the areas where Hollywood and all of that kind of thing is out in the open for them, inaccessible, you know? But let's continue on.
The state proclaimed Islam as its primary religion in the 19th century. Previously, the English practiced Christianity and used to be pagans. Today, the state follows the Chechen preacher Kunta Haji and practices the Shafi'i school of thought with Sufism. Ingushetia has the largest population of Muslims in the Russian Federation, and most of them dress similar to the Muslims in Indonesia and Malaysia. Mahmoud Ali Kalimatov heads the state of Ingushetia and is a practicing Muslim. 2. Chechnya. Chechnya is one of the largest Islamic states in Russia and was actually proclaimed as an Islamic republic in 1997. Ramadan Kadyrov, the head, has memorized the Holy Quran and continues to preside over the state.
So I want you to keep something in mind too, that because this is one thing that like a lot of Muslim women don't understand too, is while they partake in the things that God hates, right? The men that they have something against, a lot of them they don't know are Hafiz of Quran or like Hufaz of Quran. This man memorized the whole Quran, you know, but let the West tell it he's just this warlord, just this kind of titan and thing like this. But here's a man who memorized the whole Quran from page to page, right? Hafiz. But yet, if you look at the Alphabet Soup Committee, you wouldn't think that he did that, And so let that be a lesson to us men that always, always sharpen yourself. Always sharpen yourself, be it through your books or be it through another means. And don't let people know that you're sharpening yourself, basically. But now I have even more newfound respect for Sidi Ramzan Kadyrov. He's a Hafiz of Quran. And you wouldn't expect that. But lo and behold, he is.
As a hardline protector of Muslim rights. Although the state's head has come under fire for regulating tough laws, the state itself is known for its diversity in food and scenic beauty. Chechen Muslims primarily follow the Shafi'i school of thought. 3. Kabardino-Balkaria. Kabardino-Balkaria is a federal subject of Russia and is best known for its scenic beauty. Kabardino is home to the highest mountain in Europe, Mount Elbrus, and a population of approximately 900,000, of which 70% are Muslims. The Kabards and the Balkars of the region were among the last of the North Caucasian people to be converted to Islam, and today they primarily follow Sunni Islam. The head of the republic, Kazbek Kokov, oversees the legal and religious affairs. 4. Karachay-Cherkessia is a federal state of the North Caucasus region of Russia. It boasts a population of 500,000 people, of which 64% are Muslims. The state republic is one of the most religious regions in Russia, and they have been known to spend their lives practicing spirituality. Until the 17th century, Karachais were primarily Orthodox Christians. Then the Crimean Tatars arrived, and the Circassian Turks stayed until the mid-18th century. They were Muslims, and their influence led the Karachais to accept Islam. Today, just 14% of Karachay-Cherkessia are Orthodox Christians. Their leader, Rashid Tamrazov, has established many rules to balance the religious nature of the Karachais, but it's yet to be known whether he, too, is a practicing Muslim. 5. Bakhortostan, or Bashkiria, is a large federal republic of Russia, and it is located between the Ural Mountains and the Volga River. The beautiful nature is home to around 5 million people, of which 60% are Muslims. Islam was introduced in the region around the 10th century by the Volga Bulgars. A minority population of Russian Orthodox Christians also live in the Republic of Bakhortostan, and they comprise around 17% of the total population. The native Muslim Bashkirs primarily speak Turkic, influenced by their own history with the Turks. The Republic of Bashkiria is presided by Radi Khabirov, and he has been known to respect Islam. 6. Tatarstan is another large federal republic of Russia. It has a population of nearly 4 million people, which mainly comprises Tatars and Bashkirs. Influenced heavily by the arrival of the Turks in the late 10th century, the region converted to Islam and followed the ways of the Turkic people. Around 55% of the population of Tatarstan is Muslim. The other half are Russian Orthodox Christians. Given the massive number of both religions, everyone has the freedom to practice their religion openly. There are masjids on every corner of Tatarstan, and beside them stands a church. The balance is beautiful. 7. Dagestan is one of the oldest Russian republic with a Muslim majority. With a population of approximately 4 million, Dagestanis enjoy diversity to its fullest. There are multiple ethnicities in the region, all of whom speak different dialects, but are united under Islam. Dagestan is also known as a mountain of language and nationalities. Around 90% of the Republic of Dagestan follows Islam, and the rest practice Orthodox Christianity. The famous mixed martial artist Khabib Nurmagomedov hails from the Republic of Dagestan and is a devout Muslim. He has inspired millions around the world with his kind attitude, gentle manners, and respect. This concludes our story of the 7 Islamic states of Russia. Muslims may comprise only 10% of the population of Russia, but their influence is larger than any other religion in the country. From the heads of the states to the citizens of the republics, everyone makes sure to practice Islam thoroughly and inspire others to do so as well. There aren't many converts to Islam, and most of the Muslims are natives to the federal states. This is primarily because rejecting state orthodox still isn't met well in the country. Converts to Islam are shunned or forced to exile to different countries. However, Islam continues to grow in Russia, given the high birth rate, and with the will of Allah, Muslims may see a better future in the country.
So I want you to keep something in mind too, is that unlike here, which is going on in the West, they're actually having kids over there, in these places, in these traditional places. They're still having kids. And most of the time they're having kids being bounded by through the way of marriage. They're not doing it through the way of that's really kind of self-destructive for a kid, to grow up in. That's the thing.
May Allah Almighty safeguard the Muslims in Russia, bless them with mercy, and keep them steadfast on their Iman. Ameen.
I mean, so you see, even with that, yeah, even when you look at, even when you look at, like, even when you look at a place that's Orthodox Christian, right? You look at Orthodox Christians, right? The majority of the majority um of basically in the midst of Orthodox Christianity, you have a group of Muslims, okay? And they're still on their deen. When you look at the Muslims here, um, when you look at the Muslims here in America, you know, it's like really, it's like the difference is apples and oranges, when it comes to these Muslim women as compared to those Muslim women, you know. But let's go into something else, basically, to show that, like, why what's happening to what's happening um to these women is actually happening, like the reason behind it, you know. I need to find where she has the reputation, you know. I gotta find the one she where she actually found it. Let me see. Okay, so Brittany Renner. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I hate how I allowed
Shout out
myself to
Sedarius.
just be like used up by men.
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
What makes me a side chick? Because
The-
what? I'm beautiful. And
No,
what?
because the one who everybody fucks but doesn't wife.
Men in general have set the bar so low to the floor, that if you just put in minimal effort,
she'll give you a sloppy gluck gluck.
What is your body count?
36. I mean, I'll be fucking, you know.
How old are you?
19.
So, the thing is like, if you're already at 36 bodies at 19 and your voice is that deep at 19, we have to ask ourselves, how many bodies is she gonna have by the time she's 25? Like, that's kind of alarming, to say the least, that she may be all dialed up or dialed out by the time she's 25. 36 bodies at 19 years old. But let's continue.
Jesus Christ.
When's the last time you had?
June 2021. I basically regret my virginity. I only make out with guys.
So when you look at this, right? When you look at the deceitfulness that these women play, they'll convince themselves that they're virgins. They'll convince themselves that, hey, now I'm a virgin. I'm done with what I used to be involved in, but but they won't let you know, as a man, what they were involved in before they decided that they wanted to be born again virgins. And this is deceitful, and it's mischievous as well. And this is something that Allah does not like.
Like a month ago, because I'm low-key exclusive with a man right now.
You're exclusive with him?
No.
At 19, 36 fucking bodies? And you wonder why so many women are fucked up in the head.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not. I'd at least.
So one thing too is that one thing you will notice about, like, modern women is the double talk. And so what will happen is that they'll say something about a man right? But there'll be an example of that man. I remember a while back, right? There was this one girl who I knew, and she actually said that, she actually said that it bothered her to see black dudes with white women, but she felt that she should have the option to be with white men. It was kind of weird, that she would say that. That was kind of strange to me. I was kind of like, okay, you know? Again, it goes into that double talk.
6'2".
Women.
At least 6'2".
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
So
Five-
6'2".
Well, it's 5'6", 5'5".
6'2" bare minimum.
Yeah, I just like tall dudes. Men are so superficial. I'm not your type. If you were single.
If I were single.
Yeah, if you were single, would I have a chance with you?
No.
Rejected.
Why?
I'm so sorry.
Because I'm not your type.
No.
So then you like Indian girls more than Asian girls?
Well, I mean, India's like in Asia, so like it kind of.
So like Indian more than Chinese girls?
I don't have a preference.
Okay, why am I not your type? Be honest. I'll take it.
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Good. Because I'm both.
So, Brittany Renner, we already know because when you say, for example, that your role model is Karen Steffens, then, the damage is already done. Damage is already done for you. I mean, if anybody knows who Karen Steffens is, it was this one video vixen that many people, knew about due to her past activities. She had a lot of past activities, and those activities led to her being known for one thing and one thing only, basically. That was her role model, she said, Brittany Renner. But let's continue and listen to what she says.
Don't have to choose.
90% of females lie about their body count. We're lying about it because y'all care about it so much. That's the only.
Nah, you're lying about it because you're ashamed. That's the thing. Like, we do care about it. Don't get me wrong. We do care. But I mean, I would think that even if we didn't care about it, you would still lie about it because of the shame that will come from, being just a pass around.
The reason why we have to lie is because we're competing with these other bitches who haven't had as much sex as us, and guys find that more attractive, so that we gotta be like, oh shit, I haven't slept with that many people.
What makes me a side chick? Because I'm beautiful. And
no, because the one who everybody fucks but doesn't wife. That's the side chick. Sorry.
So who have been side chicks?
So another thing too, and it goes back to the deceitfulness factor that God doesn't like, is that Brittany Renner will try to like dance around the fact that she was an industry 304. I think she messed with a couple of rapper dudes, couple of well-known rapper dudes. I think, as a matter of fact, she messed with Lil Uzi Vert. I believe, yeah, she messed with Lil Uzi Vert. So she'll try to dance around these things, and it's like, you really can't dance around them. Like, you dug your grave, So it's just time to sleep in that grave. And I think you will be sleeping alone in that grave, That's the thing.
Fucking book.
Whoever been a side chick, but I was never a side chick.
Well, when you write a book about having casual sex, and
I've
by the way, not one of them claimed you. We assume, you know why men don't claim women? Because we have our real girl that we don't want to tell about you. You know that.
So what happens is that one thing that I will tell you too And this comes from the fact that Allah does not like transgressions. And that guy did not transgress. That guy just probably like made a very, very small hit. And it just goes to show you that God loves God loves modesty, and he also likes, I want to say, like balance. You know what I mean? And so, I think because women in the West have been so far jaded and things like that, that they don't know what those words mean. They don't know what the word balance means, and they don't know what the word moderation means either.
No, we earn a good salary, we have a good pension, we have good redundancy, we have good stability, we own our own homes. I'm a 20, no man can come tell me what am I bringing to the table.
So I'm gonna tell you something too. Like, don't think it's gonna be better in the UK. It's just as bad in the UK as it is in America. In fact, they're splitting images of each other. The only thing in UK is that they use pound sterling, and yeah.
You feel that you're 20? Not feel. I know. How do you know that? I know I'm a 20 because there's no man, unless you're a billionaire, there's no man that can come tell me my value. No. We have made moves that kings can't make. That's it.
I think it's childish to even bring up body count.
Hey, you know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy about the game of chess? That they made the queen the most powerful piece on the board, right? But guess what? The king, right? That's the part. That's the piece of the board that's the piece that you attack. That's the piece that you have to try to get cornered. Obviously, that king has more value than the queen, for the simple fact that if its value and its its potential for danger stems from the fact that every single piece on the board is designed to attack it. Every single last piece on the chessboard is designed to attack a king, when you really think about it.
Like, I don't
So that's
care.
childish. Is that you deflecting, trying to avoid the conversation?
No,
I just
no.
want to know the answer to my
No. I just think that it's not important.
She belongs to the streets. So you would tell your daughter that her body count don't matter? Whoa. Damn. Gotcha, bitch. So now it's important. Like, you see how it works? I don't want to talk about me, but no, my daughter.
I think that my daughter should know that her body is a temple and that she should only give her body to someone that respects, loves her, and gives her the care that she needs. But I think that
But not you, though.
Hold on.
Okay.
Society is trying to push this narrative, this lie to modern day women. You can have a know that this is not good. The ring, they won't get.
Okay, here we go.
Deep down, that they won't be able to, because it's frowned upon.
You know what I always find so amusing? When people are like, be careful of Brittany Renner. Watch out for Brittany Renner.
When you look at her face, right? When you look at what's happening in her face, right? You can see like a spirit possession type thing going on because of the evil spirits that she's inherited from her liaisons. You know what I mean? Let's take a look at it again to see the evil spirits.
I always find so amusing when people are like, be careful of Brittany Renner.
You see her eyes? You see how like her eyes are like kind of like, you know what I mean? It kind of looks like, I don't know how to explain it, but it kind of does look like somewhat of a demonic possession type thing that she has going on, right?
Watch out for Brittany Renner, the big bad scary gold-digging whore. I would never want my son with a girl like her. Listen, those of you who have the strongest opinions about me genuinely want me to stick my whole tongue in your ass. I've been
Now, here we go. Listen to this.
a side chick. I've been a main chick.
Now, see, this is before she did the DJ Academics interview. You know, this is when she was like really on the scene and things like that. When she was really, really, really on the scene. But just listen.
You know, the main chick that stayed after she got cheated.
Oh my God, look at her eyes. That's now, I don't think she's been MK Ultra programmed. I think that's just Shaitan that just got like really good control of her. You know what I mean? But look at her
You know, the main
eyes.
chick that stayed
Look,
after she
look,
got
look,
cheated
look,
on.
look,
Because
look,
he's gonna
look,
change, even though the
look.
only reason he's been a side chick. I've been
Look at
a main
this.
chick. You know, the main chick that stayed
Look,
after she got
look,
cheated on. Because
look.
he's gonna change, even though the only reason he's sorry is because I caught him. I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I plan on making a lot more.
But this is what a society lets get away. You know, this is what society allows. It's that kind of behavior.
If someone cheated on you, would you give them a second chance?
Yes. I love men. Like, I think men are the coolest, but I don't need
That you see around you.
Okay.
Every single country and everything, the roads you
Child support and
Yeah.
like that's a month on child support.
No, I don't. I do not. I don't get 200,000. I don't get 10,000. And right now we are going through the process of child support and custody. So unless we can work something out between us, we will be going to trial probably in a few months. Right now, I'm getting $2,500 a month.
It's painfully obvious why men love the idea of a submissive woman. Submissive, per its definition, is ready to conform to the authority or will of others. The prefix sub means under. Think of subpar, submarine. In short, your world is under his. Now, there seems to be a theme here. Good girls versus bad girls. A lock that can be opened with many keys is a broken lock. And if you can't submit to a man, you're gonna die alone. So my question to men is, do you want perfect Polly? A puppet? A prisoner? Or a partner who has no problem overtly challenging you?
No, we actually just want we just want cooperative women who may have an opinion and may have an opinion that will benefit us and benefit the overall well-being of the household or whatever endeavor we're involved in. But ultimately will follow my lead when it's all said and done.
My body count. I don't know why in like 2018 that's any of your fucking business or why it matters. But 24, 11 athletes, woo! 5 entertainers, woo! 8 regular guys, woo!
A few moments later.
I hate how I allowed myself to just be like used up by men. And that came from a lack of self-worth. I did not understand my value that I was born with. I didn't. And I gave, again, people look at sex differently, but sex is spiritual unification. At the end of the day, I don't care how you spin it. It's spiritual.
For women.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah,
for
for women,
whatever. Okay,
yeah.
fine. For women, it's spiritual unification.
And you unify with a lot of evil spirits, and we can see it all on your face. We can see it all on your face that you unify with a lot of evil spirits.
And people that I shared my body with, when I think about my list, it's repulsive because they didn't deserve it. But that was an outcome of me discounting my worth. And it's disgusting. I hate even having that spiritual tie in any type of way. But yeah.
It's too late. I want y'all to like think about something. What these modern women do. I know it sounds crazy, but it's essentially, and I was a big fan of this comic book back in the day. There was a um there was a comic book called Spawn. And the thing is, he was actually a good guy, but what happened is, I think because of his black operations, he was sent to the hellfire. And the thing is that he struck a deal with the devil, and the devil gave him certain type of powers and things like that he can do, but he used those powers for good. He didn't use them for evil. The difference between him and modern women is he did it for good. But when the thing is with them, when they strike a deal with the devil, it's only for destruction and dysfunction, and also just a frizzled out society at large.
I would absolutely change sexually how I move around. And not even necessarily because of like the societal outcome. It's more so from my self-worth.
Well, how it makes you like feel.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good knowing that you gave a sacred part of you to a man that looked at.
Brittany Renner is 30 years old. She's hit the wall. A lot of people think that she's still pretty, but her insides are rotting. Her reputation precedes.
She's not even that pretty, though. That's the thing. Like, she's not even that pretty. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. She says something very telling. Oh, right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here. This is exactly what I'm looking for.
Some fun facts about my sex life. Sometimes it's non-existent. Sometimes I just gotta masturbate. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's one time where I thought I was, being Billy Badass, and I fucked 3 guys in a week. Had a mean yeast infection. That's not funny. But it wasn't funny. But looking back at it, I could laugh now. Oh, I love being choked. But don't fucking really try to choke me. It's just more of like your hand placement, like knowing that you're there. You see what I'm saying? You see how I just, don't fucking try to choke me out, Ted Bundy. I love when I'm having sex, and I love when I'm having sex, and you know how your hand goes back like this? Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. And then they put the hand like that. Yeah, I love that. Some fun facts about my sex life.
So, how we said things are doing, you know how we said that now people are doing things out in the open? Like, one of the things that people do out in the open, especially modern women, is that they'll admit like their transgressions. Men, I guess men on the flip side, like they're kind of more like, well, some will admit their transgressions, but many will just not, will keep it low key and keep it to themselves, But also, let's look at this to see more transgressions by modern women. Shout outs to Destro.
She got something all the guys want from her. She knows something, girl, just keep it one.
Actually, there are a lot of single men who are my age or older. And whenever I decide that I want to jump in the dating pool.
When you decide you're going to jump into the dating pool, I think Allah is not going to even see fit for you to even find anybody, at this present time.
I have no problem finding a date. Girls
hold up now. Hold up, because you might be on this. Are the black men following in their white zaddy's footsteps by trying to colonize unconquered women in other countries?
Well, the thing is, when you look at her, you know, again, she's doing things like exaggerating, and also she's doing deceitfulness and mischief making as well. Because here's the thing, people aren't going in drones. Like, the whole thing about the passport bro situation is that they're not going in drones. Like, people, like, in order to colonize a place, right, you would have to come with like an army, right? In order to do that, you would have to come with like a big time army. Western men are not coming as an army to colonize a place. And also, the people who are going to these places are not going to just these concentrated areas. They're going all over the world. They're not just going to one place. Usually when you colonize somewhere, you're focused on one specific area, basically. But let's continue.
With their passports?
Ah, the feminism is strong in this one. I promise you, these hair bonnets have mystical powers that we have not discovered yet. These poor women are suffering from a bad case of separation anxiety. Now, why would President Bush send troops to colonize Afghanistan when all he had to do was call upon the glorious passport bros? Yes, witness our pure might. Look upon us and tremble. For with only 2 shots of bourbon and some high-quality ice-cold pimping, we, my comrades, can colonize the world. Cold. If this woman is right, maybe we have grossly underestimated the power of the Blue Book. Imagine, you only wanted a little bit of submission, some respect, and maybe the occasional poached egg with French toast, when in fact, you can colonize the world.
Are the ninjas doing what their white daddy did and taking their patriarchal, misogynistic tour on the road?
Let's break this down. Shouldn't this be a time of celebration amongst the feminist elite? Now hear me out. If the so-called patriarchy has retreated and decided to leave the country, shouldn't these feminist women be dancing in the streets? Well, she doesn't sound too happy. It's almost like she wants the patriarchy to stay. Notice, we didn't hear you speaking about foreign women a few years ago. Why is their so-called oppression so important to you all of a sudden? Especially how they're not asking for your help.
They can't conquer the Americanized, feminized women.
It's not about conquering a woman. Like, I don't think no dude wants to conquer a woman. The only place a dude wants to conquer a woman is in the sack. You know, that's it. Like, a dude wants to just conquer a woman in the sack. You know, lay it down. But it's not about conquering a woman. It's about cooperation with a woman. And you guys just refuse to cooperate. And so, like, with that being said, you can keep this ugly behavior up, but it's just going to make you even more upset. And, you know, guys, we learn how to adjust in guerrilla war. Because the thing is, you guys are fighting a war. The thing is about the gender war is that they fight it out in the open, but guys like me, we fight it in the bushes. And we fight it at different angles as well. We don't just stay at one angle. We attack it from many angles.
So they are now, they really out here. Oh my God, y'all. Oh my God.
Is it possible that they no longer want to conquer something that is not valuable to them? Imagine trying to conquer a rat-infested building. Is it worth the investment? I mean, how much rat feces are you willing to deal with so you can...
Yeah, and that's the same thing with like a modern woman. Like, I hate to say it, but why would you try to conquer someone who, like, why would you even try to invest into something that's just sloppy looking, just used up? You can tell from right off the back with the septum ring, with the tattoos, with the hair, the facial hair and things like that. Like, why would you try to even conquer something like that? You know what I mean?
hold the title of homeowner or conqueror of Western women.
These men are going to impoverish countries, finding women who are desperate for a way out and exploiting that desperation to get their adult, grown man needs met. It's giving colonizer. It's giving colonizer.
It's given desperation. It's given desperation. Bear witness to what a few months of attention fasting can do to the modern woman. These women that are living check to check, hovering above or below the poverty line, with college debt, believe that foreign women are desperate. The hypocrisy is too...
Now, the thing is that most foreign women are highly educated. And, in Cuba, you see them living like in decent places. Yeah, some of these countries leave a lot to be desired, but a lot of them have have the necessities needed to be, good.
Too sweet for the palate of Lord Destro. Now they have no choice but to become the third leg police. They must monitor every tenderloin we choose to go balls deep in. You need not worry about this.
I'm not gonna lie either. They do that, and it's sad that Muslim women did it to me. Like, you would think, like, for example, that's another reason why I have to marry abroad too. You would think that Muslim women would be happy that that couples are coming together. Like, let's just say, for example, a couple comes together. You would think that they would be happy about that, right? But they're really not. I noticed that, that's why, I have to actually go to those places that I did, that happened at the beginning of the video, the one that was shown at the beginning of the video, of the share screen. I have to go to those places because, as sad as it sounds, the ones who were there, the ones who were here, who made it here, who were attracted to me, their fellow sisters, of course, played eggplant police. And so even if a marriage could have happened, right, it would have been met under a lot of oppositions, not from the family, but from other Muslim women, And so that's why I have to get married elsewhere too, because, my reputation in the mosque is just quiet, chill, laid back, right? But their reputation of me in the mosque is everything opposite of that.
CIA or NSA monitoring the depth of your stroke. Fear not, because wherever you go, there will be a bitter sisterhood representative taking notes. The new age Karen comes in every hue. Now, before we go any further into...
Keep in mind that that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not just Karen who's doing it. It's masculine Maniqua. It's also licentious Ling Ling. And it's also Malbogia Maria as well, who does these things too.
This rabbit hole, Lord Destro requires you to push that like button and smash that bell in the name of Cobra, and leave a comment below to appease the nosy algorithm. Because as we all know,
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees?
Big Brother is always watching. Now let the Tupackery commence.
Future rests with Destro now.
Part two, we're saying no to coffee dates. We're saying no to buffer dates. We're saying no to walks in the park. We're saying no to all of that low effort, low intentional, low frequency bullshit. And I'm about to tell you why.
If we look at ancient historical artifacts from the year 2003, before the launch of MySpace and Facebook, and now Tinder and Hinge, a man could comfortably feed, clothe, and even entertain a hungry 6 or 7 with about 70 cents a day. The price of a cup of coffee before the Starbucks Corporation invented the $10 coffee bean.
Right.
With every thirsty swipe right, the price of the so-loved economical 6 began to rise.
Right.
This catalyst began the average 6's epic rise to glory, yes, off the backs of Tinder and Hinge. Why is this so important? Well, Your Grace, Lord Destro, offers you a pass to see the next stage of evolution. For Lord Destro believes that the passport is not only the gateway to the lands of milk and tenderloin, but it is also the grand market correction in disguise. In other words, our Tinder and Hinge representatives. For it is my belief that the Vibranium passport will usher in the glorious forgotten days of betation without representation.
So I had posted a video earlier about a woman who was blaming the fact that women have had to become provider women on men. Now, although I agree that women have to tap into their masculine energy when they become provider women, which is causing the breakdown of marriages, I don't, however, agree that this is now men's fault. You see, I have a problem with that because men did not ask for this. Women did. We fought for an opportunity to make as much money as we can, have as much education as we can, and I just don't understand how that is now men's fault. See, with women getting as educated as possible,
It never was men's fault. You know, that's the thing. It never was a man's fault that, you know, that occurred. They wanted it to occur. Like, you simply just got what you wanted. And so I don't know why you're now blaming us for getting what you wanted. That's the thing. You guys wanted those things. You guys wanted to have all of the things that you think that men are entitled to, but you guys wanted it without any kind of responsibility or any kind of repercussions for the ways in which you exercise those things.
they're making more money than ever and they have access to better lifestyle. What that means, though, is for women who want provider men, then they want men who make more money than they do. Now, I really believe that every woman deserves the best life that she can get. However, it is not men's fault that you cannot qualify for the man you want because now your lifestyle has elevated because of the education and the money that you make. Now, we've heard this over and over again that equal opportunity does not really mean equal outcomes. So what that means for women who are making a certain amount of money and require a man making more money than them for the lifestyle that they require, it means just because men can make a certain amount of money and get all the women doesn't mean when you make that same amount of money, you can get all the guys. See, dating between men and women has stayed pretty much the same regardless of how educated and how much money women make. Now, am I saying women shouldn't go out there and get educated and make as much money as they can? No, absolutely not. But that doesn't give us the right to demand certain things from men who just don't want to give them to us. So I'm sorry, ladies, but making a certain amount of money and having a certain level of education doesn't automatically mean we qualify for top shelf guys. Chances are the man you want doesn't want a woman like you. He wants a homemaker. He wants somebody to raise his children for him. He wants somebody to help him build his legacy. And that's just not going to be you.
But wait a minute. You didn't smash the bell and press the like.
So I want you to understand something. And I'm going to end this video on this note since it's been an hour. And then I'm going to go live again, probably on Thursday or even tomorrow. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow. But I want you to understand something that, like, when you look throughout history, you'll realize that a man's woman never was like on a power couple type thing. That a man's woman usually always was like kind of just by his side and just went off of his program. But they were never like a power couple when you look throughout history, and especially if you look throughout like African history and just history in general. You never really had like a power couple, so to say, you know. And when you look at these power couples, you see nothing but these traits that God hates. So, with that being said, I'm going to just say that, you know, in order to avoid what God hates, you kind of have to avoid the modern Western woman altogether, you know. Otherwise, you're kind of going to be like reeled into what God hates because they're exhibiting all of those traits with their behavior. But with that being said, hope you catch the replay. And Fuller signing out. SYSMB. Save yourself, Muslim brother. I'm out until the next one. Injarama.